Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Mrs. Shank Knits. That's me, my name's May, and this is everything I knit last month. Okay, so finish objects in order. The very first thing I made in January was this Baubles and Stripes scrunchie. I made it as part of the Cheer for the Elves set. I'll pop a picture up on the screen of the dog sweater and the ponytail hat. So the whole set is Christmassy, like it was made to be Christmassy, obviously the name Cheer for the Elves. And so when you do it in like red and green and white, it's clearly Christmassy. But of course, you can do it in whatever colors you like. So I did this version in a pink and cream. And this scrunchie pattern is free. The dog sweater and the ponytail hat are on, Ravelry, and then also Etsy, Lovecrafts, and Payhip if you're not on Ravelry. I've been working on a full tutorial for the scrunchie pattern because it's just so fun to knit. I feel like it looks like there's a lot going on, but it's just stripes and baubles. And I really like the way that I've been making baubles lately. They're nice and chunky. I love them. So yeah, and I've alternated the colors. So you've got, like the stripes. You've got the stripes on this side, and then the pink baubles on the cream, and then the cream baubles on the pink. It's really cute. This was number one then, the Cheer for the Elf scrunchie pattern, and this is a free pattern. And then I made this Valentine's Day dog sweater. Sorry, the sweater was first. It's called Heartshaker, and this was the first version of this pattern. I like it, but I didn't love it as much as I feel like I could. The things I loved about it were I did the collar in a smaller needle size than the body to keep it a little snug, and I love the pistachio and pink combination so much. I immediately regretted a couple of things. Like I do love a contrasting collar, and I didn't do that here, but I did decide to do a contrasting hem. Like, why did I do that? I also did not add a leash hole, which makes no sense because Nacho is not an off-leash dog. And I love the sleeves. The sleeves are super cute, but I take so much care to make sure that the sleeves are seamless. And then I added this strap that makes it look like there's a seam, like that's a little frustrating. So that I would have redone that. And I also didn't love my tension here with the color work. I felt like in addition to that, it looked a little boring, or the color work did. Like it was just gonna be a really simple motif. I want it to pop, Oh, and the specs. So I like the specs in the bottom. I actually really love this kind of vibe, but when I was grading the pattern, I found it really tricky to keep the pattern of the specs consistent with the tummy shaping being different for each size. So I started on, oh my gosh, this stitch is about to fall off. So I started on version 2.0, and this is about, say, half a day from being finished. This one I love madly. So I did stick with the smaller needles for the collar, but I did them in the pistachio, and then I used this dark brown as the main color. I did add the leash hole, and I went up a needle size for the color work, which totally fixed my tension. I think that's most people's problem with tension. And this time I held mohair with the lighter pink, and I think that really helps it look more polished and fun. And now I'm kind of in that stage where I'm just knitting the body forever, and I'm going to do the rest of it without the specs, and then when it's totally done, I'm going to add the specs with duplicate stitch. And I think this gives the knitter more control over where the specs go, and you can add more or less or leave them out entirely, whatever you want to do with it. So this pattern comes out this weekend actually. Testing is just finishing up, and I'm excited to get some pictures of Nacho wearing it outside now that I have one with a leash hole. It's actually more like a harness hole because it's further down. Anyway, then of course I had to make a matching hat. So my first hat that I made for it was exactly the same as the first version of the sweater. So version one. Again, good, but not great. I felt like it was a little small for me. It fits, but it's more like a skull cap than like a beanie, I guess. And I feel like I have a pretty average sized head, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but it's true. So I had worked out the stitch count perfect for this. It worked out really well. I love the way that the decreases kind of go on the crown there. It's good. But then I had to do version 2.0. So what I did here is I went up a needle size, and I held mohair with it. I used the same pistachio and pink as the original, but I also held it with a multicolor mohair, and I love it so much more. So the mohair makes it incredibly warm, and it's been my go-to hat since I finished a couple weeks ago. This hat is also being released this weekend along with the sweater. I think I might do it one more time for the tutorial in the new colors. I am working on a tutorial with this, like as I'm knitting this, I'm filming it. So I'm going to do it for the hat once I'm done this, and I'm 90% sure I'm going to go with this brown, so it's like a perfect match. I kind of want to do it in like a pink on pink, but I already knit this one, and I love when we match on our walks. So yeah, so that's the Heartshaker set. Actually, wait, it's not. This, there's one more. So I made this scrunchie to go with the Heartshaker set. This is another one that will be a free pattern out in February, and it's another really quick knit. This one is pink on pink, obviously, and I held the mohair with the lighter pink, so for both the striping and the heart, it has two heart sections kind of flipped, so you've got, so no matter where, like no matter how it twists up in your hair, you can still see the hearts right side up. And honestly, it's my favorite scrunchie that I've ever made, and I have made a lot of scrunchies at this point. I love that it's really chunky, and I love that it looks like really cute on my wrist when it's like when my hair is down, but it still really looks cute in my hair too. Anyway, yeah, so this is free, it's coming out soon, and yeah, so that's it for the Heartshaker set for sure. Version 1, version 2, version 2, and the scrunchie. I also made these vanilla socks with a contrast cuff, heel, and toe. This went to go along with a dog sock weight sweater that I cannot reach, so I'm not going to go looking for it. It was done last year, but the socks I just did early in January. They're so incredibly simple, but that's the whole point of them. I knit them for a video tutorial, and I wrote the pattern to go with it so people like can follow along or just kind of have a standard well-explained pattern that gives you the basics of sock knitting. The set is called Adore You, and it's free. Both the dog sweater and the socks are free. And yeah, they're just really, really cute, really simple heel flap construction, standard toe. I kind of closed it funny, which I'll show in the tutorial. You can Kitchener close it if you want to. Okay, so there are two other things I worked on this month to show you. Actually, one I can't show you, one I will show you. One was a total fail that I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with. Right now, it is this messy rectangle of linen moss stitch. I had some grand plans to make a wrap, but I still kind of want to make it. But the whole point of it was actually for like a fun panel in the middle, and this is just the edge, right? So it's going to be like this, then another panel, then the fun thing I wanted, and then these two other things kind of repeated. And as I saw it knitting up, I was less and less sure of how I wanted it to be, so I stopped. Like, I have learned that trucking through something I'm not madly in love with just does not end well. So I've been plotting kind of how I can make this a better design as I knit on other things. I do think I should go down a needle size because I'm just not loving how the shibui, you can't really see the shibui because there's only a couple rows of it, but I just don't like how the shibui linen is knitting up. Both the shibui and the lavender is actually from Quebec. It's from Espace Tricot. Sorry, I always say that wrong. But they're both linen fingering, but the shibui seems a little thinner, and I don't like the way that it was working up on the needles that I was using. So this is on pause. I love the drape. This would be how wide the wrap is, which is like pretty good size. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to figuring out what I want to do with it and do it, because I do have a fun idea, I think, for the middle section. But yeah, it's quite large. So it'll probably take a while to finish also, but I don't know. I like the drape of it. I like the idea behind it, but I just can't get on board with it, how it's working up right now. So that's on pause. Okay, and finally, I have started a shawl that I think I'm not going to share in this video, but I'll talk about it a little bit. I'm going to submit it to a publication, and I really shouldn't show it off publicly before it's finished, like before it's published by them, or like if they tell me no thanks, then I'll share it. But I will say that I'm using Mondim for it, and I'm also doing something matching for dogs too, and that's probably all I'm going to say, but other than that, it's a shawl, and there's like a matching thing for dogs, which I think would be really fun. So yeah, those are my makes for January. Let's kind of see what we have here. We've got 6 finished objects, 2 scrunchies, a dog sweater, 2 hats, and a pair of socks. And then this almost finished sweater, and then this wrap that's on hold, and a shawl that I cannot show you. Yeah, so that's January. I really like doing these videos because it's fun to show you, but it's also really fun to kind of see what I've done in a month, like all together in a pile. I am working on tutorials on some kind of behind the scenes like making of videos of these patterns for my YouTube membership that I'm launching in March. So that will be a lot of fun, and I'm getting really into it now. So there will be lots of bonus content, like bonus videos right away. I will keep you posted on all of that, of course, and all the links to everything that I talked about, like all of the, I'll link the yarn too. I didn't talk about all of the yarn. A lot of this is paint box acrylic, either DK or I think all of it actually is DK. And then the fingering was stashed, so I'm not totally sure. And the mohair is from Mindfulness Makes, but I will link everything. And some of the mohair is from Shirley Bryan also. Anyway, I'll link everything. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up to show some support, and subscribe so you don't miss anything new. And you can follow along on Instagram for daily behind the scenes stories and kind of real life stuff. Thanks guys. Bye.